Yeah. All right, welcome back. It is Hero Labs Live. It is episode 31, and it is Friday. Great to see you guys. And as you know, Nick and I will be here together today on Friday, which is great. How you doing, Nick?
Doing really well, man. A lot of good market action.
And the DXY, so a couple of things we're going to be looking at today. DXY breaks the downtrend channel. Bitcoin is in an anxiety sandwich, trapped between two very pivotal levels. We'll take a look at those and what a break of either one could mean. Ethereum network cooling off, question mark. And ETH BTC looks terminal, not looking great. That's bad news for everything that trades against Bitcoin. But there is some hope, and there is actually some alts coming into interesting levels. Although bottoms take a while to form, we will take a look at that. And a new and innovative rebase token, XBTC, launched today. Actually, I think late last night. So we'll dive into that, what it is and why it's interesting. So to start things off, I think a look at Bitcoin dominance over on my chart. So I will pull that up. And that requires a screen share, which is right there.
Hit it.
All right. So I've got a thesis, a theory. And when I find analysis that lines up and comes together like this, I really like to, I like to put it out there. I think I enjoy that kind of stuff where you see, hold on a sec, there you go. Where you see a few things that might all come together at once. So it's not about making, big fancy predictions, but I actually see some conflict. So let's see what I see. We've got Bitcoin dominance. We are into this risk-off window. Now you can see here, this is a confirmation of bullish market structure, and it's gone ahead for a couple of days. So if we pull back into here, that is not, I'm not quite ready to call that a fake out. I think it's possible. It happened here right before the China news where we broke down, confirmed bearish, and then just shot back up. So it looked like we were going to have an alt window, and then Bitcoin rallied 3K in like one candle. So if this is ready to trend back up, which I think it is, I'm leaning that way, and I'll tell you why. Because this alone wouldn't tell me that. But if I flip over to my ETH BTC chart, of course, there's a different way you could draw this up. It might look a little more bullish, but for now, it just looks like death. There's no two ways about it. This is a high, a higher high, a lower high, a lower high, and it's just lower bounces, and then breakdown. So this move back up into here, to me, is actually going to present a really nice shorting window. VPVR node, it's coming up again. So after the stream, actually, like this is sort of my focus because I would like to get a position on. The problem is, in most cases, to take this short, I have to be using Bitcoin as collateral. So if we're bearish on Bitcoin, which in the short term, midterm, I'm actually getting closer to 60-40. Like I'm not as bearish. I'll tell you why after, but ETH BTC, some of these verse Bitcoin shorts, they're going to be tricky because at this point I actually have to go buy Bitcoin to then take this short. And if Bitcoin goes down, then where's the profit in there if both are going down? So we'll see what that looks like. But you can see here. So if ETH BTC fills in this gap, which seems very likely to me at this point, over the next month or so, November 3rd is actually right here. That's election day. So it's possible that would align with this dominance chart. And the reason November 3rd is relevant is because it's right where this downtrend intersects with the 702 sweet spot. So this kind of short RLZ, this move here, retrace, take back some of the move. And that all kind of aligns really nicely around election day. And then if you put that in with my Gann chart, where's my Gann chart? Here you go. That aligns with the Gann 50/50 is actually smack dab right on election day here as well. So I'm just kind of gathering this confluence. I think once you have this idea in your head, it's very easy to find things that fit it, not like this closely always, but yeah. So that's my sort of general theory if we're heading down. But the reason I call Bitcoin an anxiety sandwich is because we're really just trapped here. You don't even need that. I mean, if we break through this, then that actually confirms a downtrend on the daily and the weekly. Okay, but if we break back above here, that would be confirmation of bullish market structure. And that would be extremely bullish. If you look at Bitcoin sort of zoomed out, it would look really good, right? Because you've just basically come back to this level, tested it, breakout. I mean, that would be very bullish for Bitcoin. Just like this would be very bearish. I mean, well, okay, that's a little dramatic, but it would at least take us down to probably around 9K. So anxiety sandwich, which way are we going to go? Nick has thoughts on that. I know you've got a 4-hour written up. This is just on the 3-day actually, but why don't you show us your 4-hour, your bearish throwback that you tweeted out earlier? I think that'll fit nicely, because that's the thing. On this 3-day, it's hard to call where this will go. So what do? We zoom in, go to the daily, go to the 4-hour, go to the 1 hour, go to the 1 minute.
I think this chart shows, we love Wyckoff's, good for entries and exits. We hit that first bearish throwback. Where did it come? Sure enough, right back to retest the daily support. So now we have this higher low forming here. We've kind of come into this bearish throwback level. So we're kind of at a huge decision point here right now, coming off into the weekend. Obviously, legacy markets have been getting shit on, and that's spilled over to crypto as the US dollar has been rallying, SPX jumping. What do we need to see for some weekend bull action? We need to see this level here get cleared. So this is about 10.8 or so. If we can see something like this, boom, retest that. If this confirms support, I think we'd have enough momentum to take this out. But until we get at the very minimum a break above here, I'm not going to be trading this, and I'm not going to be getting long right here at the bearish throwback. So I would probably be waiting at this point, because even with this little upside trade here, right? If say we clear this bearish throwback level, there's not much juice there, right? Like you're less than 3% away from another major resistance level. So what's the trade? Well, if I'm looking for the long side, if I'm not already long from daily support, I'm not interested in taking it right here. I'd be waiting for a break of the long, and at the very minimum, probably riding it, up to 11.1, 11.2 area. And if it did stall out there, offload. Wait to see if we get some support back at this 10.7, 10.8. If I did see that support, that's where I would enter with conviction, targeting these range highs around like 11.8 or 11.9. But to the downside, if we do break down here over the weekend, I'd be looking for, so obviously rejection here, a little throwback, and then I think she would finally be ready to head down. Right now, like I said, we're getting a little bit of a rally in the S&P here, breaking highs, coming off a key weekly level that we posted about before. So, this was an untested weekly support level. Well, now we can change that to tested, right? It's come down, it's proven itself. So now you can change that category. So like I said, as long as these lows here hold, the S&P is not in a terrible place. If these go, what are we looking for? Well, at minimum, back down to 3130. But I think the real level of strong support is going to be back at 3,000. However, the legacy markets are closing in a few hours here. Quickly take a look at the USD. And this is why we've been saying we're at such a huge pivot point right now, guys. The USD, which has been leading, is now at this key bearish throwback level, right? So what are we looking for here? Well, this is a key pivot level, so this is where you want to be taking a possible position. And you don't necessarily want to be trading USD. You want to be trading assets that are either correlated or inversely correlated, preferably inversely correlated. So what are we going to be looking for here? Well, quickly, let's drop off our support. So this 11,200 level, this is what we broke out from. This is a key level to be watching for. If we do see some rejection here, odds are we'd be coming down at very minimum to 1,200 there. So if we did see some support come in or something, I would say this would be confirmation for me that the bulls were still in charge and that we were actually going to break this bearish throwback. This could take some time. We've been consolidating down here for a few months. We've been watching this. If it does, however, rocket up something like this, this is probably the worst news that crypto could receive. Would be a rocket up to here, something right off this level here, right? This would be the next target. Nice horizontal coming off there as well. So yeah, we're looking at that 12.
Can you mark January 1st on your chart with a vertical line just to give us some
Sure.
reference? Because that's such a high time frame chart. Because I see, November 3rd, even if you want to mark those two verticals, because that's two pivots that I'm watching closely and I'm seeing some confluence.
Sure. So January 1st there, and what's the election? November 3rd or 4th? Okay.
3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of price reaction comes from polls ahead of time too, but we might see surprises like we did last one. Okay, so for reference point, that's interesting. A rally up into the election would be bad, and it would actually be bad for stocks.
Yeah.
Which is typically bad for the incumbent, which means probably not going to see that. I would think if they have any hold on the market, they'll probably make sure that doesn't happen. It would be interesting. Get a rejection here up to the election, stock markets rally.
The thing is that it's tough to control the U.S. Obviously the Fed can turn the money printer on or off, but it's still difficult to control the U.S. dollar because there's such a strong underlying bid for it, right? If you have $1 trillion, $2 trillion in debt being serviced at 1.5, 3% interest rate, that's a lot. That's a lot of billions of dollars that are needed just to service that debt. And you take into account that a lot of the emerging markets, their debt, the foreign debt, is coming to maturation these next 2 quarters as well. So there's going to be a huge underlying bid on for USD. So even if they are money printing, which they have tapered back a little bit right now, we're issuing new dollars. There's demand for those dollars. It's not like they're just printing it and it's just sitting in in a giant pool with nobody wanting them. There's demand for that right now globally, and I think that's what people need to think. Like USD runs the global financial system. It is the rail, it's the backbone. It's the liquidity.
So in lieu of more printing announcements, you feel like it'll probably just push on the fundamentals alone?
I think we will if Canada's already talking about a corona lockdown again, and that's going to mean an economic slowdown. GDP growth is negative this year. They're only forecasting 1.5% next year. That's for a lot of economies right now. If we do see more widespread lockdowns again, or even just restrictions in business, especially around small business, you can expect those federal deficits to increase. No wage growth. There's more deflationary pressure than there's going to be for inflationary in the short term. I think
Bodie Wildheart says that's not accurate. The M2 money is increasing. Money supply is increasing.
Yeah, I know it's increasing. It's been increasing for the last 30 years, 50 years almost, since when they let the floodgates go in the 70s.
Actually, let me just take a quick look because I don't want to get too into this. Apparently, FSW, we got a lot of things moving in the market, so I really do want to get into crypto a bit here, as I'm sure you do. But let's take a quick look at the SPX M2 because this is a cool little chart that I've been watching. Some people on TradingView loved it. Some people said that it wasn't as accurate, or at least a complete story. But you can see here, if you account, so basically this is SPX divided by the M2 money supply. So the way I interpreted that was the SPX accounting for inflation. So you have your 2008 crash, and then all this rally since is really just up, and we basically just swept the highs there, and then we had our Corona crash. It's a little spooky if this is all bullshit, and we're just at this bearish retest, and then we just dumped. So in a way, this is kind of, whatever you want to call it. Some guys are saying it doesn't account for inflation. That's not quite what M2 is, but it's working. It's working really well as far as finding levels. So while the S&P was off to new highs and maybe having a hard time finding a target, this thing was at a perfect bearish throwback. And I think we could have a long conversation about this in and of itself. But moreover, Link is pumping. Now,
there's Ethereum here at a key throwback level as well.
Yeah, so we're going to get over, let's get a little bit more look at the majors, but Iman is correct in that Link is pumping right now as we speak. Now, here's the thing. Of course, this could have been the bottom, and it's just back to heyday for Link. I would caution people rushing to that. Now, here's why. When you get tops in moves, they come in very quickly, and then they take a while to cool off. And even once they reach those sexy levels, they usually just take their sweet-ass time down there. Link is no different. You can see here, very nice year in 2019, and then it cooled off. And it may not look like it from here. I mean, it did arrive in the RLZ right off that sweet spot. Oh yeah, that's why we traded. But this was August to October that it sat down there doing nothing. And then it even came back to visit that the next December, January. So it took a while to form that. And then it went into this massive parabolic move. And typically, like moves like that, the larger it is, the bigger it is, it's going to actually take a little longer to correct, to sort of get all the money back into the strong hands so they can do it again. So we did come into that sweet spot. I actually got front run, and it's going to be a strong bounce because it was a very powerful dump. But am I ready to just say, like, and this is different too, because in 2017, 2018, I would just look at something like, oh, look, it's up 30% today, it's up 10%, 20%. I better FOMO into that because maybe that was the bottom, but very good chance it's not. And in that sense, I would expect, more of this. I mean, we might get up to this 382. Actually, that would be an interesting level for today. And, you know, whatever we do up here, but just more of this. We're going to need more of this kind of through the terrible end of that line. But, you know, that's how bottoms work. That's how you get your next move. And I guess I would change my tune if price, of course, if it made new highs. But even ahead of time, I might change my tune if we could regain this market structure fail. Because this is, as Nick would call it, this is your bearish throwback on the higher time frame. This is your big fail. That's where it came in. And you can see as soon as that hit, accelerated dump, the retest actually got front run. So, I mean, hey, you want to be a day trader, you want to be a midterm trader, you can play some of these swings during the chop. But for the next big uptrend, likely going to take some time. And that's sort of my thesis right now around everything. Now, one of the things we talked about before the stream was, yeah, okay, so Iman's saying, no, short it. I don't know if you mean like don't short it or like, no, I'm talking about shorting it. In which case, you've got the right idea. Because when you're in these situations, it's very easy to get caught up. Look at that. So yeah, hell yes. Okay, Iman, now you're speaking my language. Because we are into a pronounced bear trend, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So here comes a high. It is a lower high. I really like your thinking. And now we're up into this area. We're into the short RLZ of this last leg down. And now I have a location I can work with, right? I can take some risk maybe up against this 702. Maybe I risk to these highs if I don't mind having a huge 17% gap on that. But then I would have to stretch it pretty far to get to my 4-to-1 that I like to get. So I would either have to play with this some more. I'd have to maybe take it up here and risk missing it, or just not risk to those highs. So the other way I might do that is, and this is really applicable to all coins. Let's zoom in. So I'll be watching the lower time frame for sure, probably the 4-hour. And maybe price gets up into here, it just chills, and then it squeezes up one more time. And then I look, and then right here it's making lower highs in the MACD, bearish divergence on the RSI, no volume, no follow through. That is a really nice signal. And then you get that nice tight invalidation. So I could be like even living up here, get that right up against this high. Suddenly now, see how I've reduced my risk? And I can, now I don't even have to get back to this bottom, and I'm at 4-to-1. So that's on my radar now. Thank you, Iman. I'm actually going to keep a close eye on that because, yeah, it's very easy to.
It could happen.
It's very easy to get sidetracked when you see a pump like this, and you're like, oh, we're back. But if you have your high time frame bearish bias, which I think you should, because we've just had a really nice bull run, and now it's time for a little switcheroo until further notice. And that's really the break of these highs. If we get back above that, suddenly we have potential reversal, and then we'd have to wait for the confirmation of the lower or the higher low, and then the breakout. That would be like the full confirmation. I'm expecting that, so good show. Before we get too deep into the shit coins, I mean, not that Link is one of those, but like into that sort of more request part of the show, got a couple things we want to touch on. First of all, the DeFi perp is on Nick's radar as a sort of a macro, sort of something we can keep an eye on. How's DeFi doing?
It's actually doing not bad right now. You know, it first broke this week daily support, and this is why I don't, you know, it was untested before, but only one touch of it. I like seeing multiple touches before I, consider it really strong. But right now you can see we're rallying, not out of the woods just yet. This was a 4-hour consolidation block that it broke down from. So I'm going to be looking for some resistance kind of around here at 22.7 mark. If it does break above it, though, I think this could be a nice rally over the weekend here. What is concerning to me is that momentum indicators are actually painting a little bit of a div here, like that. So keeping an eye on that as we rally into this bearish throwback level here. What would I be expecting? Probably some resistance off that level. So, maybe a little retrace back down to the daily support. If we can flip this to actually a bullish retest, which it would be, and it confirms like this, higher low, W, I think we'll have enough momentum to then take it up to the range highs. If we do fail here at this key consolidation block, which I do think we'll see resistance either direction of the follow through, we'd be looking for something like this, a lower high, and then failure to the daily support. So I think it's there's a higher probability that risk on assets get a little relief here as the legacy markets are pumping. Let's take a quick look at the other perp that we like to keep an eye on. Oh, that's Uniswap perp. Do I even have the other Uni one up right now?
Yeah, I've got a Uni perp, or Uni USDT.
If you pull up the perp here, so very similar to the DeFi. Like, wow, look at this level here. Okay, key. Oh, nice little inverted head and shoulders actually down there as well on the small hour intraday. So what do we need to see here? Well, very similar to our former. Actually, I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. See what this looks like on the daily. Oh yeah, I can see the levels way clear. And that, guys, that's why you start on your high time frames to make your way down, right? So look at this nice little daily consolidation block right here. I think Uni could easily make a charge up here, especially again the risk on assets getting a little pump. Ethereum moving up here at 354 key throwback level. So what are we going to be looking for? Upwards and onwards. So looking for this daily block here at 23,000 to get tested. I don't expect to smash through. Obviously up here is going to be your second target around 28,000 or so. Nice little volume though. But I do, something like this. So if this flipped, then this, former resistance level in the last 4 days flipped to support. And then boom, boom. That would probably be the most bullish setup I could see right now. The bearish setup is that, this is just a little dead cat bounce on the risk on assets through the weekend, and we actually reject here, failure, and then back to new lows. So that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm kind of leaning more so on the bullish for these levels to get filled in the short term at the very minimum. So I wouldn't want to be taking, any shorts down here. There's not really any great entries until we move up at least. I think it's like a few percent. Let's see quickly here. Yeah, that's a good 10% bounce to be had there. Quickly before we send it back, key levels being tested just as we're going through the stream right now here on Bitcoin. This 10.8 level, nice little stab up here. Volume's looking all right. Same thing on Ethereum, right? So actually making a little bit of a lower highs on volume, but it's still early, right? So if we see this throwback get broken, the next logical target is going to be up here around like 370 or so. So set some alarms here at this point if you're not already in. You can't get long just right here. You've missed that opportunity. So
look at that. You just get a nice little rally going.
The majors are moving.
Yeah, okay, give it a quick flip over here, Jono, and I'm gonna kind of echo Nick's sentiment on that with Ethereum. And we were actually just talking about this before the stream as well. And I was telling you, I think a 380 kind of a squeeze type weekend makes sense. Obviously, I had this. I had this short window drawn up a while ago. I don't know that it's off the table. I know that if we do go up there, there's going to be cries for new highs, and everyone will say, "Well, we're not a bear anymore." And that's actually why these short LZs are so sick, because guys like me will be coming in looking for bearish divergence, looking for failure. Not because I want to see it, but man, what a sick opportunity, right when everyone thinks it's all done. And clear as day. Anyone who's been watching this stream, you can just, this is not even from the stream necessarily, but really nice bullish market structure there in the form of a head and shoulders, and it's breaking out. So with this kind of gap here, I don't expect it'll stop right at this moment. It'll probably come up at least and grab, some 368 liquidity. And we'll see how that plays through the weekend. But I'm with you, Nick. I am short-term bull through the weekend. I think we've sold off a ton. And it's just time to remember that even in a downtrend, you get some pretty well-sustained rallies. And I think that's actually why I'm focusing my other time in the lab on coming up with this how to spot a trend reversal. So for those of you guys who are waiting on that this week, part 2 is coming out. I may actually just do it live because I was having, it's a big, there's a lot in it, and it's going to be tricky to put all that together in one quick video. I mean, it took me, over a year and a half to learn all that shit, but I'm trying to find a way to synthesize it so it makes sense to you guys. But the point being, these counter trend rallies can be great trade windows, but I just don't want to get caught up like dollar cost averaging on all the pumps, because that's psychologically what a lot of people will do, right? Depression, 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 depression. Oh man, I should have grabbed some link. Okay, I'll just get a little. Depression, depression, depression. Okay, I'll buy a little of this pump. And so we'll try to keep focused on the bigger picture, because when there is a trend reversal from this downtrend back to an uptrend, it will be clear as day. It will be painted. It will be confirmed. It will be like,
plenty of time.
Yeah, this could be it. I mean, it could be right here, and then we come down, we put in a nice little low, and we get that breakout, and then probably even get a nice little juicy entry to join. Whenever it happens, it's going to happen, guys. So, we'll be here highlighting however long it takes, next week, next month, next year. We're going to capture that when it happens and share it and get our plan of attack out there so we can all enjoy what might be a generational opportunity in 2021, 22.
Speaking of generational opportunities, MTA, about an hour ago, they announced that their staking is live. Prices, it's been a negative price discovery here for the last couple of days. Me, I've been a huge bear on this fucking asset for a long while, and finally it broke low. So I did enter long.
Longed it today.
Yeah, I got long at the bottom here. Basically, as soon as I saw that announcement, I was like, whoa, that's bullish. That's incentive to lock up supply out of circulating supply for 30 days. That is a long lock period, guys. So going to be keeping an eye on the metrics of how much of the supply does get locked up. And, this could be, it's just a high risk reward play here, right? So, I tweeted this out just before it pumped. It's up 25% now, guys. I can't really justify you guys buying. It's up 30%. Don't buy this right here. But I do think we are going to test these two levels here, specifically that $3.84. Why? Well, it's just the key support level, right? If the market flips above this former support level, I'm going to be big bull on MTA. So I'm sure Messi will appreciate that. I also saw that Messi tweeted out some more interesting information on MTA perp. Something about MTA appearing on the Kraken API. So is that a listing signal? Usually. So we're keeping an eye closely on that. So MTA, add it to your watch list right now. It's hot.
All right. Well, Nick is back to the bull side of MTA, which is news to me. I found out after the pump, sadly. That is sometimes just the way she goes. Knowing like the way I trade, balls to the walls, along the lows, catch that news. But as price pulls back from that pump, which it will, there will be an RLZ, and that'll be me down there waiting. And if I see what I like on the lowest time frames, I will scoop a little bag. On that note, I want to talk about Uni, because this is a chart that I've been tweeting like a madman yesterday. I think actually maybe the day before. What was it like? Just before. Well, it was really the 23rd, so a couple days ago. And just keeping an eye on Uni, because it came out hot and bothered, turned down, and as we talked about, there actually was a short setup here. This was your short RLZ entry. And so there was a 6 short there. I missed it. I had mine a little higher on a different chart, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, moving on. That's just going to happen. Like in the life of a trader, if you're really chintzy and you're not just chasing things everywhere, you will miss a lot. But when you get in, you just have exactly what you want instead of like taking what you get. I don't fuck like that. So I missed that one. And then coming in here, saw the signs, get that nice bullish structure breakout, drawing up this fib, sniping the entry down around 427, 417, and getting the fill, and then a new bullish market structure. So it was a really clean. Now, I actually got into this and got really scalpy. Like right up here, I was up a certain amount, and I was like, you know what, this just looks weak. I'm going to cut some. And I got a little scalpy, so I ended up working a lot harder than I needed to through this. But I came out with a clean little profit. And it rolled over today. So I think the message here for Uni is, is it a pump or is it a reload zone situation? For now, it has a really nice strong reaction to this pump chaser from this morning. So that's bullish, and then basically continuation. So it is looking really good. Generally speaking, bullish on this pair. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, this resistance, knocked it down last night. And
the majority of holders who were airdropped that have sold their tokens. So that's just going to naturally decrease selling pressure as well. And like there's big wallets still accumulating. So I'm still bullish.
I'm bullish on it, and there's rumors of V3 coming out, and with that could be all kinds of added things. And given the fact that they did a big airdrop, and this Hayden guy's, a bit more like champion of crypto type guy, obviously they've made their money. I mean, if you think the guys getting those airdrops, made a lot, think about what the founders, I don't think, point being, with the governance, I think there's a very good chance there will be some dividend, stuff built into that. When that announcement comes, this is like that slow bubbling up of pressure, and then maybe this resistance breaks. I mean, that's that kind of blow off announcement where it's just like absolute FOMO. So I do see that coming for Uni at some point. The question is, can it withstand the gravity of the market? For now, I would say yes. It has shown that it can do that. So this was a pretty sick entry. Didn't I actually get it myself because I've been just doing other stuff today? But something I'll be watching. For now, the bears are in control on the hourly, which is unfortunate, meaning the large bars are all bearish. So there's no big buys out here to outweigh that. That could change, and it'll change in a candle, right? Like right here, the bears, the bulls come out, said we're bullish, and the bears shut them down, and since then I've just. So there's some interesting mixed signals in that regard, but I'll be watching this closely. I think this level is now strong enough to break the long on the other side of it, below. But for now, we're actually just doing a little bearish retest right here. So I'm certainly not FOMOing. In fact, there's actually probably argument for a short entry here. I'm not going to take it, but it's there, risking to the recent high we just made. And then, if we trickle down, it's either pump chaser zone. Given the macro sort of leaning bearish that I am, I would actually be looking for this reload zone, but I don't know. I already got one. I don't know if I can get another. I think, there's something to be said for, not that one. Yeah, there's something to be said for this, which is kind of confluent with the other pump chaser zone. So playing with the fibs, bullish on Uni, and not in the trade I am. Not in the trade right now. I caught most of this move. So let's take it out. Oh no. Sorry, guys. So Heel says sound quality poor. Oh. No, my microphone is set to Scarlet.
That's okay.
So good. I don't like that. I got this mic here. Is it using it though? It should be. Sounds fine to Andre. Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm set on the Scarlet, so that's interesting. But I did start the show off on the Pro, like the Mac microphone, which our producer caught very quickly. Thank you. Okay, so let's roll with it. If it keeps going, guys, let me know. We can switch over to Nick, and I'll do some unplug, replug fun. So those are okay. Let's get back to business here. Now, look, today, very exciting launch, a new project that Nick and I are actually both early investors in. So, full disclosure, that's always on the table. Now, it's a new rebase token, original sort of idea. And maybe Nick could get into it a little bit. It's basically a rebase, but instead of being based on a $1 stablecoin kind of peg, it is based on Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, basically, instead of being pegged to $1 in positive rebases, which means that you get more tokens issued if the price is over $1, with the idea that creates downside pressure because people who are given those tokens then actually sell them for the most part, and that creates the sell pressure to return to $1. If price were to drop below $1, you would get a negative rebase, meaning that you would have tokens taken away from you, with the idea of scarcity equals value. So here with XBTC, they use, instead of using a dollar peg or any number as a peg, they use the Bitcoin dominance as a peg. So say Bitcoin dominance right now is currently at 61. As long as the price is over 61 cents, you'll get a positive rebase, right? So it's just going to be a moving rebase target based on dominance, with the theory that Bitcoin dominance should decrease if we get a real bull rally. Why? Because the creation of new capital and via new projects launching, especially on top of the Polkadots network, Cosmos and stuff, all those projects launching multi-billion-dollar projects, they are going to eat into the market cap and percentage dominance that Bitcoin has, because it takes much more money to move Bitcoin 10% than it does for, say, Polkadots to move 10% and add on $1 billion in its market cap. So even right here, you can see it's, it's touching the bearish throwback right now. The theory is this dominance will naturally decrease over time, which is really cool for XBTC, because that essentially means your positive rebase is going to increase, right? So yeah, that's kind of the premise on it. They've had a good launch.
Yep, smooth launch. Came out, I think it traded as high as 280, something like that, and now has rolled over a little bit down into the 160 area. And I believe the rebase is set for the daily close. Is that correct?
Yep.
0 UTC or 8 p.m. where I'm at. So yeah, something to keep an eye on. I'll be watching it. It's my first rebase token, and since I'm always charting the dominance and I'm into it, I thought, okay, I'm going to take a shot at this. So yeah, very cool stuff, and just wanted to make sure we highlighted that because it is hot, it is new, and it's finally not another clone of the Ample and all the other rebases that basically seem the same. But no hate on those, because sometimes a clone is all you need to make a little money. Now, ETH cooling off? Question mark. Got the Ethereum gas fees here that have been just astronomical lately. And they're dropping hard. Not like these kind of one-offs where you're like, oh, there was like a hiccup in the market or whatever, or like a little pocket here, which was to do with, what was this? Yeah, this December 2017. So like here was CryptoKitties. We all remember CryptoKitties. It like crippled the Ethereum network. Now, to be fair, they've made upgrades since then. I remember back then, like even on a quiet day, it was like 2 minutes per confirmation, and now it's like closer to whatever it is, like a handful of seconds. So I mean, there was big moves made between now and then, but this was CryptoKitties. This is all it took to cripple the network back then. And I mean, look where we are now. We're creeping into some very high fees, averaging as high as 538 GWEI. So I don't even know how you say that. I don't know. It's a fun word, but we're cooling off. And I think that's what's needed. I think that is, I mean, this looks really good, actually. Wow, look at that breakout. Can't get enough of that. But I think that's what's needed. And on the ETH Bitcoin chart, we're actually getting a similar pattern. So it could be time to squeeze up. And if that is the case, since you guys know I've got a higher time frame sort of bear vibe on this chart, then there is, there's going to be an opportunity for me to put my money where my mouth is. The first opportunity was here, obviously, when it did come down and then shot right back up off that sweet spot, actually swept this high, which was really nice. So I'm going to be looking for another one, and that'll probably be up around here. Might even just draw this up like that from the last pivot up here. And that would align really nicely with this little pivot. So let's just say I am still bearish, even if we rally this weekend and pull right up into there, which I wonder if that actually aligns. So when you get a break like this, I'm going to show you guys how to measure moves off of this kind of structure. So you want to measure from basically the breakout point to the bottom. Then I will clone that and measure it up from here. So the breakout of this structure will essentially be exhausted. Doesn't mean it's the top, but it's like a good take profit if I'm like trading this move. That breakout should take us up here. So you can see that actually aligns really nicely with this little box I've drawn up in the short RLZ. So that's also top of value on the VPVR. So there's lots of confluence, old SR levels here and here. Lots of confluence to be thinking, not changing my bias just because of this move up. Oh shit, I was wrong. I should get long. but sticking to my guns and eyeing this for another setup. And that might be quick and dirty, like this one was fairly quick and fairly dirty, or it might actually linger up here and I might be able to see some new structure come in and catch that breakdown. So we'll see. This is what I'll be watching, and I'm with you, Nick. I think we are going to see a relief rally, actually, now that I've been doing all this analysis with you. It makes a lot of sense because there's just been destruction. Everyone's like hands off alts. There's probably a lot of people sitting in Tether, sitting in Bitcoin, sitting in Ethereum, and now it's like, let's get those relief rallies.
I think it's going to be only a rally in like quality projects. Like look at, at least a lot of these Bitcoin pairs. Like look at this BCH chart. It's absolutely dismal. It's made new all-time lows today. Bitcoin Cash against Bitcoin. Like it has a long ways to go for this.
There you go.
Bullish again.
Oh my God!
Look at the weekly consolidation block that it's broken down from here, right? So yeah, it has a lot of work.
Operation Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Do you remember that one? It was like the god of like 2017. I think it was like I don't know, it was like September, October, November. But there's this like meme kind of post floating around 4chan, and it was like, I'm a secret whale from a secret group of whales, but I feel so bad everyone's going to get wrecked that I came to tell you that on this date, all these like, they're going to flip Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and all the whales and miners are going to switch networks. And like there was this, and that thing went viral, and then like the next day, I think it was on BitThumb, Bitcoin Cash went absolutely parabolic. I think it was as high as like 0.6 Bitcoin at one point. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, the fear.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see those prices again.
Oh, sorry, Roger.
It's the same thing with Litecoin though here, right? Like, we've broken these range lows of this, very long consolidation since May. And, now we're trading below there. It's, is Litecoin silver to Bitcoin's gold? Hell no. This is worse than copper.
Aluminium.
Yeah, so until there's no reason to be bullish. Yeah, it's had a little pump up here today, but to me, and no reason to be bullish for an expansion trade unless we get back above this key level here. Intraday, I think the majors are going to have some relief, so these could move up a little bit. But overall, like these pairs just look absolutely abysmal. I wouldn't want to be touching them until at the very minimum they reclaim these major support levels that they broke down from right now.
Damn, you know what? I'm thinking like, I'm sitting here with you. I feel all sneaky today. I'm like, oh yeah, like maybe there is going to be a relief rally. And then like flip over here because you just saw that bullish confirmation on Litecoin. I'm like, ooh, the daily looks all right on XRP as well as far as location. But I mean, this is what we're seeing all around right now. We saw it on Link earlier today. You just saw it on Litecoin, and same kind of thing on XRP. Now, the good news is if this is a full sort of relief rally, then this is not the whole move. I think it gets trickier when you want to put a little leverage on it. You got to catch something with a better validation than this, obviously. But I could see, this is a daily, so the weekend really is like 2 more bars, so it's not that much. But on the daily, there's a chance to get up into that resistance. I think makes a lot of sense. We've got a huge gap here on the VPVR. Could use some filling in of this, like, so I bet XRP will probably end up ranging in here for the next little while. And if it does get aggressive in the way of a retrace, then, again, always looking up into these kinds of zones for that counter trend rally. Everyone's back to bull. We're going to break to new highs. Nah, actually, there's no momentum and whatever. It's impossible to say that ahead of time, but that's just the kinds of things I think when price gets up into these short RLZs. Just like when it gets down here, I'm looking for longs. Gets up here, I'm looking for shorts. And someday it breaks out, but in those days, that's when we get back to what I actually prefer to trade, which is what Nick and I did a lot during the summer, which is that sort of Wyckoff, like, okay, it breaks out, set those bids, and then it just comes down and goes bing, and then you just keep going. And then it's just like bing, and then you keep going. And it's like the easiest trading ever. When you know how to trade it, you have to be able to identify they're in that state. Right now we're not. So trend trading is a lot more fun. These RLZs are really good at spotting trend reversals, but they're actually a little bit more for like consolidating and ranging markets, or at least they lend themselves well to both. But so let's take a look at some of this. We're both leaning towards a rally from here, a small one perhaps, but but one nonetheless. What kind of, I've got a short list here of some ideas. I just want to pull up XTZ because it's, I actually pulled this up for somebody in the trading pit earlier. They asked about this chart. And I came to this, I haven't charted in so long. So I shit you guys not, I did not touch this for about a month. This, like the TA on this chart is just well over a month old. Probably around here was the last time I put something on. And I mean, just more of this, guys. 1618 fib extension from this move initial, come down like to a T. What a sick entry for a short or exit for your long at the very least. As you can see, a lot of other people did that, and that's why price stopped there. Came down, lost this level, which is now resistance. So I should flip that. And even this trend line, like, I mean, this is just an old trend line I had on there. I mean, I just love this shit. And then you come back and you find it, you're like, oh, look at that. Should have been trading this. But,
TA does work. What a surprise.
yeah, who the hell thought? Who told you TA worked? Like, you know, so this is an old chart because, I mean, you know, if it was new or if this was like me charting this up now, I go to this low, I got to find out where that rally was. And of course, we are down at that sweet spot. It seems like every major is right now.
Oh my God. Uniswap pair is absolutely mooning right now. Sorry.
Get over to it. So yeah, basically XTZ, it's in the zone. Let's go see what do we got.
Well, first, XTZ, you know, at this key bearish throwback level, I'm not going to switch bull on this actually until we're minimum back above 2.3. Right now, you know, just testing that. There's a lot of, you know, NFT. You know, we're big on NFTs. Our whole point here at Hxro Labs is identifying trends earlier than the curve and giving you that alpha. The next one we've been looking at is NFTs. We really, really like NFT protocol. Why? Because they have the narrative, they have the branding. They're going to have a DEX for trading NFTs. I don't think, like, NFTs in the art world are cool, but I don't think that's going to be the killer features of NFTs. It's probably going to be more so in line with like in-game items, tradable items, probably like a mixture of DeFi integrated into that. I think a lot of stuff from Ethverse is doing some cool stuff there. But NFT just announced a partnership with Dapper Labs. If you guys know these guys, they've been around for a while. They created CryptoKitties. You know, that brought Ethereum to its the network to its knees. Previously, back in 2017, 2018, whatever that was. So big news out of NFT protocol. I think they have the branding. This is, you know, I full disclosure, I do hold some of this, but you know, our whole strategy is to find projects that have a base layer technology, you know, teams that have experience doing this. They have the connections in the, you know, the legacy world. And like the whole point of NFTs, like there's so much addressable market in the legacy space. So preview tech here and then port it over there to really, you know, gain market share. And so anyways, price, you know, already surging 26%. But
I'm pissed, man. I was at right before the stream. You said, "Oh, they just made an announcement." I was like, "Oh," and I looked over, and it was sitting in the RLZ at like 19 cents. I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna buy some back." But my friggin' funds are sitting on Binance.
Oh no!
I would have just market bought like 5 ETH right there. God dang.
Yeah, this is another really good project. Keep Network. You know, we tweeted this out yesterday. It was right on daily support when we tweeted it out. Sure enough, this thing is, you know, just actually rallied bullish engulfing off that support. I think this one is going to be a fantastic project in 2021. Not a lot of people talking about it yet. Big backers, you know, Figment Ventures is in there big time. A few others. They're hodling. I'm super bullish on Keep Network here. You know, as long once it breaks this level, I think it's going to go off to the races. And then another one that's approaching a key interesting level is Ken. I saw, you know, a few people in the trading pit trading this one. I can't get bullish on it just yet. You know, we are approaching this key throwback level. Can I find the tool I'm looking for to illustrate my point? Yes. So here we are. You know, it's pretty big. I would actually be more interested in this consolidation block up here at 5, but nonetheless, you know, approaching this key level here at 3.7. If it breaks it, you know, I think this kind of goes in line with our, you know, maybe a little bull run over the weekend. You know, it's still a great, like, look at these trades up to these next levels, right? So a lot of opportunity there. So keeping an eye on that stuff. And I think that kind of goes in line with the Uniswap charting that we did beforehand. So yeah, a lot of opportunity on the Uniswap pairs right now coming off these key support levels into the weekend.
Nice. I actually pulled something up while you were talking about NFTs. There's an old thread here. You mentioned that it may not be digital art. Now, anyone who's interested in this, there's a sick thread that this guy, DCL Blogger put this out on the 11th of September. I retweeted it on the 13th, and you just got me thinking about it. So if anyone wants, you go check out our at Real Hero Labs on Twitter and find September 13th, and you'll see this guy's thread. I mean, it's long. I won't go all the way through it, but he goes into 25 different industries that are being disrupted by NFTs, which is even a shock for me. I mean, art is obviously up there, virtual land, games, TCGs, whatever those are, right? Collectibles, cards, animated collectibles. I mean, there's a ton of shit in here, and it's fascinating, and it's something I'm glad to say we've been kind of watching and bullish on for a little while. I don't think it's done yet. I think it's just getting started.
Oh yeah.
This is what I was looking at before the show. Right here, god damn it, right on the sweet spot. I think it was actually up a little bit. I think it was around 17 to 19 cents. So I mean, it's a lower liquidity coin. I've got a bag already, so whatever. But it's just sad face because it's like a 45% move. Whoops. Note to self: always keep at least some funds on my MetaMask. So I was like, I was literally sitting here like, oh, I'll just go buy some of that because apparently there's an announcement. But I mean, you can see the setup here. Anyways, based on what I'm always charting up, it's pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, I think people need to go out there, do some research, identify the good projects, and spread some liquidity across them all, see which ones emerge the winners, and consolidate portfolio.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm actually doing something like that. This is another one. Can't speak to this project much. Don't know really what it does, but I've been DCAing on dips. And on one rally, I actually bought a little more too at like $7. But Rari.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about that one.
So this one, I think I bought some. I don't know. I bought 3 times now. A couple spots. Actually, I circled here, but I haven't bought that yet. But I am going to go buy a little and just adding. Right, like the key to DCAing, and this is something I struggled with too, is like really small guys. Like for me, like. If you have $1,000, it's like $25-$50 because especially if you're DCing a whole bunch of different things over a whole like 3-month period, because you're just going to run out of money. Or if the amount becomes too big relative to your portfolio, you're going to be tempted to it'll be more emotional. DCAing should be boring. It shouldn't be exciting. You shouldn't be buying, at least in my opinion, shouldn't be buying an amount where it's like, this is a trade. I need it to go up now to be satisfied. It's like DCAing as a rule, I almost want to see it go down because I'm like, I'd rather lower my average than raise it before inevitably what I hope will happen happens. So my 2 cents now, meme, I got to give a quick shout out. I don't know who it was. If you're watching again today, you gave a golden recommendation when I talked about NFTs 2 Mondays ago. And on stream, I said, any other NFT tokens you guys are into, hit me up and let's take a look at them. Shit you not, it was right here, September 14th.
Please DM next 50x.
Yeah, please make more noise next time because this guy, it was right here. It was September 14th. This was between 12 and 6, so during our stream. And he friggin' said meme in the chat, and I missed it. And I mean, obviously, and then ad nauseum, I've since gone back and been like, oh, we would have pulled that up and it would have been sitting right in our RLZ. It was perfect. And I mean, it was like parked on the 618 when he's like, meme. And then I actually did look at it later that night because I did the rewatch and I was like, oh, what's meme? And I looked and it was up, it was up basically 2x. And I was like, oh, shit, that sucks. I would have missed it. And then I saw it the other day and I was like, what? Yeah, fucking thing went up to like 2K. So shout out to random mysterious YouTube chat guy. Forget your name, but we got to find you because you just shouted out a 13x on stream. And oh, what a glorious moment it would have been. Anyways, that's another NFT token. I'm, obviously, you know me, I'm not touching this now. Party is over, but would have been nice. On that note, chess coin. That's not what I wanted to look at. Here we go. Non-fungible token.
Run away.
Run from the chest for now. Maybe someday.
Even though peer-to-peer
that's like $100,000 market cap. So
yeah, but peer-to-peer betting is going to be big if they can work out the regulations or do it in a decentralized manner.
Yeah, no, I think they've got something there. I mean, they've built a platform. You can play chess, you can bet crypto against each other, and they're doing tournaments. I mean, it's cool, but it's like 36K market cap, so be careful if you guys buy any. But I was looking at it, apparently. I got busted looking at it on stream. Now, top fungible tokens. So you can actually get this.
Data network. My God, the thing just doesn't go down.
Yeah, so look, I mean, this is a list on the list on CoinGecko of NFT coins. Now, I don't obviously know if it's exhaustive. Does it have ours in it? Yeah, it's got NFT protocol. Not listing their total market cap yet, but you can actually hack that because it is a fork coin from Box Party. Still the name of the company, and they switch tokens. So you can actually see on here the circulating supply is 31.7 million. It should be roughly similar to that, if not exact. So what is that? 31 million times 21 cents. Do the math and hit us in the chat. But yeah, so NFT. But let's go back to that list because this is the kind of list I want to look at when I think NFTs are going to.
Exactly. Where's the opportunity?
Yeah. So this is sort of like a nice short list for anyone who's like, oh, this NFT thing sounds cool. Look through these. At first glance, I look at like Engine Coin. I'm like, ENJ, really? Is that an NFT token, or is it just vaguely related to hosting some sort of dApp to do with NFT or something? I don't know. Like, just being aware of exactly why it's on this list. Do your own research, kind of thing. Sand is one I was trading earlier this month. If you guys remember, I do not have any right now. I ended up taking profit on that and getting the fuck out because everything looked gross. Small profit. I mean, tiny, but better than a loss when my stop loss ended up hitting later. So validated. Now, Soul, Phantasma, some old ones I've not seen in a while. I keep hearing about Shroom. I don't know about that, but it sounds fun. Unilayer, Small. Oh, this is another one. So this is the only other one that I've been DCing is Small Love Potion, SLP. It's kind of freaky, weird. Like somebody told me about it actually like a year and a half ago. Hey, get out of there. Axie Infinity. So yeah, just like a weird little NFT. You get these characters, you can trade them. So I did buy a little bit of this one. Let's see why. Was there a chart that looked good too? I forget. I just kind of like throwing a couple $100 at each of these, and like, but I don't care how bearish things get. They're not going to be part of my go to tether. Like they're just locked in now. Yeah. So I bought some, and then I added on this pullback after the breakout. But you can see, I mean, look at the volume. Basically since last week. Holy shit. So I think this is probably, was that July 2020? Oh no, this is not when I was hearing about it. But either way, what a moon. But yeah, it's like 5 cents. Kind of looks good. I mean, it looks like it's building for something bigger, does it not?
It always does.
Like, well, with a huge volume breakout, and now it's just like chilling here. I don't know. Wouldn't be shocked if this broke out. Might go buy some more after the stream.
Higher lows.
But I mean, yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be that pumped if it broke out big time because I don't have a whole lot. It's well, I'll tell you right now, it is exactly 0.3% of my portfolio. So don't go too crazy on Small Love Potion just yet. What's on your radar, Nick? We've got a few requests coming in. We've got SXP. We're going to hit up Neo. Neo is actually coming up into levels where I want to reshort. We got VET. We got
Algorand is interesting.
You pull up Algo, and then let's get into request mode as we come into the top of the hour. We can bang out some rapid fire for them on Friday.
Algorand and Solana are interesting. Beyond Meats is interesting in the stock market. But yeah, Algorand will start here. Everybody was bullish on Algorand. They are all liquidated. They lost the money. They're done. Their girlfriends are gone. I was not. I was waiting to buy. Yeah, I know. But it is what it is. I was waiting to buy their liquidations down here at the weekly support. Almost got it. I did not get filled. It was close. I was excited. I might get another shot. We're coming up to this key daily level right now. Let's draw it out. Daily support right here, right? This is a big level. If we close above this, like say this candle right here, the bottom of this, yeah. So maybe just above 3.5. This is this volume profile. If we close above that, I'm bullish. Where am I bullish to? Well, one look at this chart is pretty obvious. Well, it's an awful line, but you get the idea. 50 cents, guys. That's the target for any upside move from here, right? There she goes. That's what we're going to be looking for. It would come back down, retest off here, and if it's bullish, it'll support, make the higher low, and then blast off to like 65 cents. If it's bearish, we're going to come up to this 50-cent level, and then just come right back down to the daily support. And we'll see. I would reevaluate. You'd have a lot of confluence. You'd have the trend line up there, assuming I nailed the timing, which I probably would. And you would also have the daily support level there. So and this is a big trend line, and we've had support off of it. So this trend line's weight just went up in value for me. You got 1 tap here, 2 tap, 3 tap, and now 4 tap. Guys, this is a daily time frame. So high weighting on this trend line now. If you don't have it drawn on your charts, I highly suggest that you do so, because I suspect if we were to see a break below it, can you imagine something like this? I'm gonna try quickly out here, and then we'll move on. But can you imagine something like this? So it goes up, comes back down to the daily support, boom, fails, and then if we saw that break, I really do think we would then get our weekly retest. So I think this would be the most savage thing to happen: ascend it aggressively to 50 cents, and then right back down to sweep the fucking weekly support level. That's the most savage thing I could think of.
Well, and part of the bottoming process in markets, and you could say we're done that, and it was part of that 3,200 kind of chill with Bitcoin, but like part of this market cycles. And one of my trade mentor, Brian Beamish, he always talks about the washing machine phase, where it's just up, down, 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 down. Up, down, down, down. And those ups are not, a couple days, little pumps like we're seeing today. Like those are like multi-week or even month rallies, and you start loading it up, and everyone's leveraging up, and they're taking out loans, and they're buying it back. They say, this is it. They get into their little rocket seat in the rocket ship, and then it just craps out, and they get washed. Yeah. And however many times that needs to happen to really wash the public out of the market, and then we go. So, and his vibe is, from what I remember him saying, is basically that this is that washing machine phase this year. So it's like, yeah, enjoy the rallies, do some DCAing, but maybe not quite rocket ship season yet. So that kind of fits. That would be savage, that move up to 50 cents. Absolutely gross. I see Sushi on your screen. You want to do that, or can I talk Neo?
This is just quickly Solana. So
Solana.
I like Solana. Basically, it just breaks this 3.26 level, bullish for retesting daily resistance. The major support down there at 235, and then this daily support here. But right now, looks good. This is a really strong daily candle with this wick low down there at 2.9. So yeah, I just set my alarm there at 3.26. I'd be looking for a 20% move from that level up to the daily resistance.
Yeah, I like that. And you can see, did that candle, not the current one, the one just before, did that close above the high of the recent little push?
No, it didn't. That's why I have it drawn off that level there. Yeah, it's a key one.
I was going to say, because if that was like, sometimes you get that cheeky close where it's like just a little bit above. And oftentimes looking back on rallies, you can find that it was signaled on that candle before.
He's pushing up a little bit here too.
Okay, let's take a look at Neo. You guys know, if you've been following along on my Twitter, at randomtask555, I don't really highlight trade specifics on the at Real Hero Labs Twitter. It's just kind of like, I don't know, bad boundaries or something. It's more just like analysis and ideas. But if I ever do have the wherewithal to get a trade out there directly, it's usually on my own Twitter. And this is one that I traded fairly publicly on there, and now I'm out of that trade, and I'm looking to get back in because, and this is part of why I struggle with the swing trading if I'm using leverage. It's because, like, yes, I think Neo probably is going to wash out, and like we all just talked about, get in here and really shit its pants and let everyone get out and wash up and clean up, and then we'll go on and see what's left for the next bull. But I don't want to hold, oh, you're up 10K, oh, you're down to like, break even. It's like, oh, you're up. Like, I don't trade like that. I want to secure my gains and get a new setup. So in this case, it has come up and tagged the 618 beautifully. That's not where I would have had my short, so I'm not too worried. I would be looking for a move. and risking missing it, at the risk of missing it, that's disgusting line right there, but let's get something a little cleaner. So we're at this flip now. If it breaks down from here, I've probably missed this short RLZ, and I'll have to, we'll find the next opportunity for this one. This kind of sell pressure coming in doesn't give me too much hope as far as like if this was like a low volume trickle down, then maybe one more move up. But I will actually set an alarm. Let's see. Let's just say like 20.5 cents, because then I know it's probably off the table. So I'll say less than 20.5, or yeah, $20. Okay, and then what I'm looking for here, and it's actually starting to set up if it does come up there. So this move, it's the magnet that's messing me up. So that move, yeah. So this move here, if we get back up here, there is a pretty good chance that it will be on lower momentum. In other words, that will be the divergence, right? So let me show you what that looks like. We can get rid of a couple of these. So if I'm watching for a divergence to come in, you can't have a divergence on one move because it's just high. You need to have a lower high or whatever, right? For the divergence to happen, you have to have two moves. So in this case, we've got this high on the MACD. We've got this high on price. If price comes back up here, there is a pretty good chance that the MACD will make a lower high. Why? Because these last 3 down candles on the 4-hour have pulled the MACD down. So they've pulled these moving averages closer together. So as these two converge on each other, this histogram that measures the distance between these two lines, it rolls down a bit. So if we get another move up, this won't fall for it. It'll be a lower high. So probably something like, so price will go up to a new high, and this will actually show internally that there's weakening. So that's what I'm looking for on NEO. And if I get that, it's going to be so friggin' juicy. I'm going to be probably loading up into the 2 to 3% risk range because, again, it just fits my high time thesis. And so when you are high time frame bullish, for example, the types of assets you probably want to be looking for are the strong assets that haven't broken out yet or are near their lows. Just like right now, I think we're probably headed for a little more downside in the midterm. Again, this weekend, maybe not. In fact, this weekend, I hope we rally because that's going to set up this short. But in this case, look at NEO. I mean, it's not wrecked at all. You saw Algorand, you saw Link, you saw XTZ. Those guys are already back down in their short RLZ. So if I'm bearish on this market, I'm not hunting shorts for them. NEO, on the other hand, it just had sort of a late rally. So very excited about NEO. I think it's probably the best that I've found as far as like an opportunity to have short exposure to this market because it is so up close to its highs of the year. So very excited about this. And you know what? If it breaks down, I'll get over it. I'll find a new setup maybe on a bearish retest of this. But I think hopefully there's a rally this weekend, comes up. Momentum indicators tell us it's on weak-ass momentum. Shitty buy volume just trickles up. Oh my God, what a glorious setup that's going to be. And that one I may actually make an effort to hold on to a little longer because I would like to see a short come in where I actually can be like in October or November, wherever it is down here, and be like, look, I didn't close that short yet. Like, I've never done that in my life. Maybe this is the time I'm going to go for it. Fuck it. Give it a shot. So, okay, guys, rapid fire. We're going to do a couple more charts before we wrap for our Friday. Before you go, you're going to be one of those guys who likes to cut early. I should let you know now. We've got a special guest coming in on Monday, Scott Melker, the Wolf of All Streets, and he's going to come on and hopefully I'm going to be able to pull out of his mind as much alpha as he will allow. So he has agreed to come on and share sort of his edge in the market and talk to us about that topic. And then really it's, I don't want to get it into this big, like standard kind of interview thing. Like, how did you get into crypto? Like none of that stuff. It's going to just be right into the charts like we always do. But we'll get to pick his brain a bit. And that's exciting for me because based on the content I've seen on his Twitter, he's a really smart guy. He's doing a lot of very good things in the market and smart and whatever, successful. So we're going to pick his brain, go over some charts. It's going to be great. Hit us up 2 p.m. on Monday. Set your alerts now.
Huge. Well, I guess I can start off with Theta quickly here. I got a couple charts ready. Yeah, so Theta, this thing's had an absolute monster of a run from the March lows. Where can you enter on this one? Well, now that we have some more price action, I think last time we looked at this, it was last week. You got a clear daily support level forming right here around 0.54 level. If price comes down, well, I guess your first intraday price support level test is going to be right up here. So like 0.6 is probably going to be your first level to be watching. If that goes, this 0.5 level seems pretty interesting. So I can't justify buying up here. I've missed all of this and never had this on my watch list or anything. But again, 0.6 first daily support level to watch. It's untested, right? So that's going to be the first big test. This is confirmed daily support down here. So 0.5, 0.6 are the levels that I'm watching for on Theta.
Holy shit, Theta's just giving her. I guess it's that narrative that's pulling it. Do you think it's the NFT narrative? I never thought of it.
All helps.
But I've never read its white paper, so there you go. Safe is on my chart right now. Somebody asked Safe said it might be starting an uptrend. I don't know what time frame you're looking at. I would imagine it's lower than mine. So let's take a look. This thing looks fairly flat. I bet if I zoom in, I do see some degree of shift in there. Let's pull it up. I know Messi tweeted out this is one of his DCAs he made today. And yeah, look at that. So on the hourly, it does have, okay. So this is a good conversation, actually. I'm really glad you pointed that out. Because yes, in some sense, I see what you're seeing, which is always black on this as a standard. It's weird. I guess it's not set to dark charts usually. So you've got your low, you've got a high, you've got a lower high, you've got a higher high. We just made a higher low. So if this was to make a higher high, you're absolutely right. There is a little downtrend in there, and that is just the definition of one. Now, we are also parked. I won't set up this whole thing because we're on rapid fire right now, but let's just say we are in that RLZ. The sweet spot would be like right here. So we're just parked under the sweet spot. We're living in the RLZ, as they say. The reason I'm hesitant to call this an uptrend is because to me it's consolidation. It's sort of in that chop zone. I would want to see, and it very well could happen, I would want to see a break of this level. And that's not to say that it's bearish until it breaks this level, but it's not going anywhere, right? And we've talked about this before with opportunity cost. It is acting as resistance. So actually that should just be red for the sake of, letting us know what it's doing there. And then we've got support, which is getting a little more chop. Actually, it kind of broke through that and came back in. So right now we're just trapped in this range, and there is some signs that we may be working our way to the high end of that range, but it could stay down here for quite a while. And in that time, I could be doing other things with my capital. And if it does break out of there, there's a pretty good chance, to me, that's the start of the uptrend, right? So here's your high, here's your high. Let's break and make a new high. That's confirmation that not only are we trending up, but we're moving now, and then I can get in at that time. Yes, it's a higher price, but it'll be way less opportunity cost. And, the risk you run with things like this is, maybe they we're partnering with Google tomorrow. Wah, of course. But as a trader, I can't worry about those kinds of things. I just say if it presents itself, I will take it. This is what that would look like to me. In the meantime, it could do this for 2 more weeks while I'm trading NFTs, or it could do this, for whatever. So those are my thoughts on Safe, as rapid fire as I can give them.
Quick Zcash chart. I hate Zcash. The inflation's been so
good start.
Yeah, I've been bearish on this thing for years. The chart supported me. Anybody who's been against me is surely poor by now, unless you were shorting this thing. But it has, it is at a key daily support level. This is a 3-day chart, guys. If we do see this market rally, this is the first intraday level here at $56 resistance level. But if we can break through that, what would we be looking for? A rally back up to the 3-day bearish throwback, of course. That's a good 30% move off that, right? What's your downside risk? Well, grab your handy price range chart and then just draw off these range lows, 15. So about a 2-to-1. Not great, not terrible. If you think the market's going to be rallying this weekend, yeah, there's a trade there. You'd be looking at $66.
Don't they have something coming up, like a hard fork or a halvening or?
Yeah, the halvening is coming up, I think, later this year.
Yeah, that's why I was, yeah, people kept hearing about it and saying that's a thing that's going to be really good. So we'll see. I mean, usually when those things catch they're onto the radar, maybe it's a month later, and you will see some kind of buy the rumor, sell the news. But anyone's guess when that'll happen and how that'll look. And I've never been a big Zcash fan either, mostly just because it's a bit of a dinosaur. Like I always felt like it just moved slow. And in 2017, it was like $500 a coin, and you can only get rich on penny tokens, right? So hard to buy the $500 coin in 2017, given what I was working with at the time.
I think when it launched, someone bought it at $3,000 per ZEC or something ridiculous, if I remember.
Now, I just hope that I spotted the sarcasm. I think you can make money on anything that moves up or down, regardless of the token size. So that was a shot at people who used to go after the micro tokens in late 2017, and some of those like XRP maximalists that are just like, well, it's got the most upside because it's only 25 cents. Let's forget about the 70+ billion circulation. Whatever it is. Okay, take a quick look at SXP. Now, this is one that I had to eat shit on this one, actually. I think maybe 3 times. I'm done trading this one for a little bit, and I'm going to explain to you guys one of the things. If I do screw up, I want to share it with you, tell you why, and what I learned from it. Okay, I screwed up on this one, mostly because I gave too much weight to this chart, this Binance chart. I didn't really look at the pre-Binance listing chart, which we'll look at in a sec, and it gave us actually some hints that this was not as good a location as I thought it was. I had looked at it on that KuCoin, but I wasn't charting it on there. So like I knew it traded there, but I was doing all my setups here. And actually maybe it was SXP, because I know I had more ink on this. It must have been this one, yeah. So yeah, I mean this sucks. The bulls arrived, sure, but I think it was the 4-hour. Yeah. So a couple of shots. First of all, I missed all of this stuff. So I was just charting this. I wasn't trading it. And then through here, I thought, okay, we've come to the RLZ. We've made that W breakout. We had some divergence. I was like, let's go. And it stopped out. Next, come down into the strong support level. Something, 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 something. Nice little bullish breakout here. And then I bought the retrace of that. Washed out. So maybe just 2 times. But point is, SXP has just been a bit of a bag of shit. And you're thinking, well, why is it keep going down? It should have some more support. Let's take a look at the KuCoin chart, because that has, or KuCoin as some people call it. I find that weird, but there it is. There's a lot more history here, and you can start to see what that full picture is, right? If I had seen this chart, I probably would not have fired that second shot at SXP. I would have said, oh, look at this. Like, we need to clean this up. This was all leading into the Binance listing. I'd be very curious to see when it was publicly announced, because I bet it was publicly announced here, and this was your insider buy pump where it's like, hey, we're going to be buying, SXP, and there's anyone, friends and family associated with the company or whoever that are getting word of that, and they're like, yeah, we're going to buy that. But this chart just needs to be cleaned up. And in fact, this still right here is probably the ultimate bottom. If there's going to be like a super dump in the market or anything like that, there's just not going to be, like, there's just more selling than buying. So let's take a look at that. I mean, came through the trend line, tapped it, broke down. I mean, there's just no love for this coin right now. And that's really just a feature of too soon or too far too fast. I think Binance owns it. I'm very bullish on it. That's why I lost money trying to long it. I'm going to grab it, but I'm probably going to be grabbing it down here off the 88.6, maybe even below while we clean this up. And I'll probably be waiting, or I'll definitely be waiting for some evidence of what I always talk about, which is the reversal of trend. Once we put in, get a little range, it's probably going to be gross and choppy. But once that trend reverses, it will be pretty clear. And this is what I'll want to have in my portfolio. So I guess TLDR, the lesson I learned was, make sure that you are charting the chart with the most history, especially when you're looking to buy something that's in sort of a downtrend at the time, because there was a lot more room below that I actually kind of didn't account for. So there you go. But lesson number 2, always what you're willing to lose. Like, I only lost 1% on each of those trades. Right? And that's pretty standard. I usually just take 1% risk on a trade. So I can survive those fairly easily. Just a little punch on the nose. Any others? I think we'll finish up in a moment, unless there is a last minute request. Love to get those sneaky last minute ones. Haka. Oh, did we pull up Haka?
I don't think so.
I looked at it earlier just because I saw a messy tweet about it. I was like, oh, what's going on with Haka? Let's take a look. I don't remember what I saw.
Project of the future.
Well, let's see. I mean, it's not at the highs, which is obvious because Messi would not be, DCAing is really about, usually it's about buying blood unless you're doing like a FOMO DCA. But let's take a look. Yeah. So that's actually looking really nice at these levels as far as location goes. Can't complain about that one bit. For aggressive DCAing, which I plan to do a little later on, I think if this is going to be a bearish pivot, then it's the beginning of it. So I'm not like rushing to spend my dry powder just yet. But yeah, don't know anything about this one, but it is definitely down in the zone. It's actually below the RLZ and everything. So that's more speaking to how intense it got. But, same stuff, guys. You can see this clear as day. Well, it's actually a little messier on this chart, but, as soon as that market structure fail came in, oh, look at this. Just as far as like this kind of short right up. So look, market structure failed here. If there was any reason to like need more evidence of this. So once that happens, that's your signal. It's like, oh, we're going to roll over. Set my asks or my shorts, or in this case, just an exit because you probably can't short this thing on leverage, up into this RLZ, and look at that. Everybody got filled. I mean, it's Uniswap, I guess, so you may not have resting orders, but it's clockwork the way this stuff works. You get the trend reversal, confirms, and then it's like I can actually still get a chintzy exit up here a lot of the time. And whap. I mean, any technician, any TA analyst will look at that and say, this is where I got out. And now it's just going to have to do what we've been talking about, that nice little consolidation. So, but you can see the volume picking up here. The buyers are getting interested at these levels. So that's very good to see. And I bet an entry around here will probably age fairly well. Messi's DCAing it out of all the different coins he follows and knows. I'm sure this one has something going for him. So that's good to know. I will put this on my short list for a little DCA. What do you got, Nick? I actually want to look up AVAX, the Avalanche one. I saw it was rallying the other day.
And my eyes are just on Ren right now. Seeing a nice pop.
Oh yeah, head up Ren.
Love that project. Came down to this key daily consolidation block. Strong bounce off the level. Now I'm kind of looking at 0.26, somewhere around there, with the ultimate daily resistance all the way up at 0.4. But pretty strong candles here. So I'm going to be looking for basically this level right here. Zoop. Yeah, 0.27, 0.26 area. Draw it off this even. Something like that. Give myself some room, right? So yeah, this looks strong. Equities getting a pretty decent bounce here. Commodities, same thing. Still actually, still below these former lows on the commodities. So not flipping bull just yet. But yeah, a lot of things looking good right now. Coming up with some key levels.
Sweet. Okay, let's end with Avalanche. This was a hot ICO. I think I tried to get in on this one, like there was like a lottery play or something, but didn't end up getting there. I forget what the price was, but it's trading at $4.75 now. And I got both charts up because it's fairly new, so I just wanted to look at both. This actually looks pretty good, guys. I don't know what the market cap is, which would definitely help a little bit if it's on here. It is. Let's take a look. I would think top 94. I mean, this was a hotly anticipated ICO. It has a market cap, I'd say only 114 million. But when you're in this kind of realm of hype and quality, you tend, 114 seems low in that regard. Let's pull up the Bitcoin chart because this is the one that caught my eye originally. I mean, this just looks good. If it breaks these highs, I actually want to know about it. So let's say 4558. And when you have a macro bear thesis like I do, just for the midterm, there are still going to be opportunities in that. So I'm not like, walking away from the screens. Obviously, I'm here all the time. We actually already had a bit of a bullish setup come in here. Nice retest. So we're trending up on this quietly, but the much larger resistance up here, I should draw that up properly. So if this level breaks, there's going to be a little early price discovery here. Could probably catch a nice trade, and that's cool. And then can get the book out when I want. I think it's already on Binance Futures as well, not positive. So there might be a short coming up if it does get a nice rally. But for me, I'm going to add this to my short list as well. So a couple of names to chew on today. I think I'll want to see volume coming in if I'm going to get too excited about this. So I'll be watching here. I want to see a nice pronounced entry from the bulls that tells me not only is it going up, but it's just starting. You want to get those breakouts with a lot of volume. So that's my 2 cents on AVAX, and that is all for today. Why don't we flip back?
And we will wrap for the week. So like we said, we got Scotty coming in on Monday. That should be fun. And we'll be back together on the air on Friday next week. So hope you guys enjoyed the show today. If you did, hit us with a like, hit us with a sub, comment in the chat box or on the video page. Hit us with a comment if you guys have any ideas, things you want to know more about. You're like, Colin or RT, Colin. I just doxed myself.
Uh-oh.
RT, I really want. It doesn't really matter. It's more just like a fun handle. But I want to know more about, this thing you talked about, or why the hell does this? Ask us questions, and then we can prepare those for future episodes. So, any thoughts you want to share before we go, Nick?
That's basically it. Just keep an eye on into legacy markets closing here in an hour or so, coming into that key 3330 level, and
step out.
Crypto is at a key throwback level right now. So let's see what happens. If we move above here, I'm probably going to flip my bias long up to 370 at a minimum. If we falter out here, then this is the top, and I will see you back at 330.
Yeah, exactly. I actually have to step out for a few minutes, take a quick walk, and then I'm going to be on the charts tonight, probably all day tomorrow too. My girlfriend's in town, so whoop whoop. It's going to be time to hit the charts. So hit up the Twitter as well, guys, because we'll be fairly active this weekend, I imagine. And this is going to be a pivot. It's going to be full of opportunity. So with all that said, I will say goodbye. Have a wonderful weekend, and always play from a position of strength.